Good morning. Hey, Gretchen. This is my very first scope. Hold on, let me turn the camera around. Hey. I'm very nervous. Never done this before. And Hey Jess, I think I've seen you on scopes before. And there's Jessica. Yay. Yay. Good. So I am a little bit nervous about having to block crazy people if they join in, so just bear with me for my first scope ever in my messy hair. Okay, I have a list of what to do. To introduce myself, my name is Hilda Rebecca. I'm married to Mark Manriquez for quite some time now. He's in the back of the house cheering me on. We have 5 children. Thank you, Gretchen. Oh, yep, that's my wall of thrift store finds. 5 children, 4 boys and 1 girl. The girl is right in the middle, and she was raised as a little princess, as you can imagine. My oldest, yes, that's me, Jessica, thrift store queen. My oldest 2 children are married. Jessica on here, Manriquez, is my daughter-in-law and mother to 3 of my beautiful grandchildren. Thank you. It's from Small Sparrows Tees. I found them on Instagram. Small Sparrow Tees. I have bought every shirt they have so far. And really like their shirts. I like wearing cool homeschool mom-ish shirts. Anyway, and I have 1 grandchild on the way, due in a couple of weeks. We're actually all keeping a tally of when she's going to be born, seeing who's going to win. As far as homeschool, yes, Small Sparrow Tees. As far as homeschool, we've been homeschooling about 16 years. My daughter that's 20 started doing reading with her when she was like 4. She was ready way earlier than any of the boys. And my older boys were public school, then homeschool, and when we moved to a little tiny town and they didn't know anybody except for church friends, and all their church friends went to public school, they went to public school for high school and graduated from public school. But I have 1 daughter that has homeschooled all the way through and graduated, and my next to youngest is graduating in June. So I only have 1 more of my own children to school through graduation. So I only have 4 more years officially as a mother homeschooling, but I've been blessed to be able to co-homeschool my grandchildren, and hopefully that will last for several more years. Jessica, if she's willing, I'm willing. So I feel like I've gotten a do-over in a lot of ways, having the opportunity to school with them, and it's been so much more relaxing than it ever was when mine were little, because it was all new and fresh then. So far from it. I have learned how to relax, so I'm a pro at relaxing through the homeschool and not worrying so much about every little detail. We mainly do Charlotte Mason homeschooling. When my older boys were homeschooled, because they had already done traditional public school, we ordered the Christian Liberty Press box curriculum, and it was, Christian textbooks. They were already used to reading a chapter, doing the questions at the end of the book, and so that's what we stuck with. And it worked for them, and it was a lot of fun. And of course, we did field trips and reading books aloud, and the literature. I did my own literature because I love living books. And my oldest son actually did a Becca. Yes, we do Ambleside. Off and on throughout the whole years, all of the years, I've used Ambleside for, if nothing else, their book recommendations. But sometime before my oldest went to high school, I got really, really nervous before homeschooling my first official high schooler in homeschool. And I just said, you know what, we're going to fully embrace Ambleside for these years and to help me for a guide for her. We did our own picture study and poetry and composer study, but as far as the literature and worldview and history and things like that, we, followed Ambleside, and we have loved the year, 9, 10, and 11 books. Loved those books. So she she was a little bit concerned about being prepared. All of her other friends were public schoolers. And then one day she found her friend that was signing up for colleges and everything. She had a college-bound reading list, and my daughter read it and said, I've read almost all of those books already. So I said, yay, score, doing something right. The book list for Ambleside is excellent. So for my grandchildren, they're doing a combination of AO2, year 2, and we may spread it out through another year. We don't know yet. Just year by year, we're going to see what's going on. And my oldest is in year 10 and 11 mix. Hey! And my youngest is in year 7. But because we're doing a different science through a co-op, we sort of shelved year 7 science. But because it's so excellent, we're going to do it next year in year 8 because they just revamped that. Anyway, I'm getting off topic. Maybe I'll have to do another scope on different years in Ambleside that we've done and the things we've enjoyed about them. Okay, so I don't know who all is on. I see 7 people are on, and I think some of you are my Instagram buddies, and I don't know everybody's name. I know Gretchen's name, and Gretchen is the one that encouraged me to do this. I was rambling a little bit there, guys. I'm sorry. Jess, yes, yay! Cruz, you've got all those beautiful, beautiful babies. Yes. And thank you for keeping me company. and Gretchen, so I don't know who else is on. And of course my Jessica. Well, I'm going to go over what is in my reading basket, because that was the challenge a week or so ago, and when I was like, oh yeah, I can talk about, hey Allison! Oh, okay, Carrie, let me see. Okay. Alright, well I'll try to follow anybody back because I really enjoy watching all of the scopes. And I'll watch a replay a lot of times if I can't get the book talk. So in my reading basket, those of you that follow me on Pinstagram, thank you, Allison. I was telling them it's Small Sparrow Tees on Instagram. I've gotten their shirts from there. They're really, really cute. All Charlotte Mason inspired shirts. But those of you that see me on Instagram know that I have done a book reading list for the year with my very best friend Lynn. So if anybody's interested in joining us for a year-long adventure with living books and mom books, and they're just great books. We had a hard time picking 12. One month we're doing 2. The Stepping Heavenward, I've read it probably 10 times. It's one of my favorites, so I know I can read it like in 2 days. So we added that one on. Yes, Instagram is the same as my Periscope, and I post absolutely everything there on Instagram. Homeschool, family, a lot of Charlotte Mason. I try to post a lot of Charlotte Mason type things there to encourage other moms. I feel like I've been doing this so long, I just want to share the beauty of a Charlotte Mason education with anybody I can. So anyway, so this month's book is Fantastes. We don't know if we're saying it correctly or not, but there's a lot of glare there, I apologize. By George MacDonald. He's my absolute favorite author, if I can choose a favorite author, because there's so many I like. I started reading his Christian historical fictions. My sister introduced me to him, and they were like reading devotions almost. This is it's supposed to be an adult fairy tale, but it's not adult in the sense of the word people use it today. It's just not a children's fairy tale, and I've read his children's fairy tales, and they're really, really, really good. So I'm enjoying this book, about halfway through, and yes, I used to read You'd Never Catch Me Without a Book in My Hand, and sadly Netflix has changed that recently, and I noticed, and I said, this isn't good, I need to start reading again. And my friend Lynn felt the same way, so we made this challenge with each other. Then also, one of my other favorite authors, start with a lot of the, as far as George MacDonald, a lot of the living books type homeschool curriculums have started pushing the book Sir Gibby, which is a retelling of another one. I can't remember the title. But for George MacDonald, all of his books are edited because of the original Gaelic, I think, language that he wrote in. But Michael Phelps, or Phillips, I can't remember if it's Phelps or Phillips. Michael Phillips is the best editor for George, in my opinion. But you can read all about it online and make your own choice. But for the George MacDonald's Christian historical fictions, the ones edited by that Michael person are the best ones. But one of my other favorite authors is Elizabeth Elliot. And this is a tattered thrift store find book that my sister picked up for me and wrote me a precious note in it. And I'm slowly just reading this whenever I need to read something calming, encouraging, and beautiful. So when I get done with this, I want to pass this along to someone else, and hopefully it will make its rounds and get even more worn and battered. So, and another one I'm reading very slowly is, I found this at the thrift store. I'm a thrift store junkie. Before I even knew he was running for president. And just, he wrote this, I think, in 2012. And it really shows a lot about his worldview. Very, very interesting read. And because my son is, we don't even know if he's going to get far enough to even vote on or not. You know, that's not the point. The point is learning, you know, a biography to read. And my son is old enough to vote for the first time this year, so he wants to read it after me. And then another one I'm slowly working through is a Ellen Montgomery. I always have to have a sweet fiction whenever I need to just read something sweet and precious and to separate from this crazy world we live in. I've read all the Anne books 100 times, but never read all of the Emily books, so I'm reading through that. Yes, I read a lot. But those last three I'm reading very slowly. Thank you, Allison. That was sweet. Now, I'm also reading these with my second oldest son. It's on the Ambleside online list for year 9 or 10. Yes, year 10, and they go along with this book. Yes, they go along with this book. And good morning. And so we're reading this together. He's now 19-year-old and I, and we should have done it earlier, but he was so interested in other books that we just said, let's save it for your senior year, something we can read together. This type of book is not something I would have picked up and read on my own. I like the lighter type reading, but I am enjoying it. In fact, we started listening to these on Audible and then reading this to go along with it. So I'm looking forward to the discussions we're going to have about these books. My 19-year-old and I discuss books all the time, all the time. So it's a joy when you raise readers. Hey, it's a joy when you raise readers that can discuss books with you. I don't have time to read all that I want to read. So when he reads a book, or, my children read a book, I say, tell me about it. Hey, Andy. I say, tell me about it. Tell me about this book, because I don't have time to read it and I want to know what's in there. Especially my 19-year-old, he reads books that I would never sit down and read because they're so nonfiction and heavy. But I enjoy hearing about them through his oral narrations and written narrations that he does. I'll have to do another scope maybe and share some of the books that he's read that I've learned about through him, because it's so interesting. And so that's all that I am reading. Every scope that I do, I hope to do more scopes and to encourage people about books. They'll mostly be about books, because that's my favorite thing, I think, about a homeschool mother, is being able to share good living books with my friends and family. Yes, book scopes. Thank you, Jess. It was nice seeing you. Yes, book scopes. So I picked 2 children's books to share for my first scope. And I have to mention my best friend in the world, who's going to watch this on replay because she's off to an exciting field trip right now. But my top knot hairdo that I like to throw up, she started calling me Miss Rumphius, even though sometimes I feel more like Aunt B, but Miss Rumphius, thank you. Thank you. So this is one of my favorite little books and my favorite author. So anyway, this is my Miss Rumphius do. So if you haven't met Barbara Cooney or Miss Rumphius, I challenge you to read this, and then you and your children will want to go out and make the world a more beautiful place. So I really love this book. And then another children's book that I enjoy. Yes, it's a sweet book. I love all of her books. Another children's book that I just love is Leo the Late Bloomer. And you can guess by the title what this is about. Yes, it is a must-read. It is a must-read. Leo the Late Bloomer is so precious. I just love this book. And it's really, really great for children who feel like they can't keep up with their older siblings or even their younger ones in some things. And I just love Leo, and I'm sure you will too when you read him. It is a sweet book. It's a good mother-son relationship in here. Oh, you can hear the wind chimes. The windows are closed. We live in a very old house. It's a Victorian. And in North Carolina. We live in North Carolina. Wonderful state. Love it here. Yes. And our house was built in 1898. I love history. Yay. I love history. So, you can feel the wind and hear the wind through the doors and windows. Well, actually, we finally replaced the windows, but and that helped a lot. But it's just neat that, oh, I love my house. It's built the same year that the Biltmore estate here in our famous big house in North Carolina, the same year that it was finished. Yes, basket weaving. In fact, I'm working on one. Hey, here, I'll grab it because this is the lid. This is the lid to the basket that I made last week. Here, I have it at the end of the table. So this is the little basket I made last week. So yes, I love the Biltmore. I'm about 4.5 hours away. I wish I was closer. But I'm only 2 hours away from Tryon Palace, is another beautiful historical home here in North Carolina. So I go there a little bit more often because it's closer. And so some of the things I like, I didn't write it down, but I'd really like ideas for future scopes. Allison, I did think about a basket weaving scope, but I've got to figure out how to do it because I can't do anything with the baskets and hold the iPad or the phone. So if I enlist the help of my boys, maybe I can do something or have the stages set up for a simple basket or a placemat or something simple like that, you know, or maybe the basics. So that's funny. That's funny that you say that about my accent, because one of the crazy things about me is that I was born here in the South, but my mother is from Maine, and I spent so much time in Maine in my childhood that I thought I was born there. And when I found out I was born in North Carolina, I was about 7 years old, and I cried and cried because I love it up north. And my accent was so strong. My northern accent, yes, it's funny. My northern accent was so strong that when I started public school in North Carolina, they put me in speech class. My teachers could not understand me, and all the children said, "Hilda had an accident." Instead of "Hilda has an accent." Oh, it just makes me cry thinking about it. I just remember that. It was like, "Hilda had an accident." So I remember vividly, I was just like, I don't know what they're talking about. I didn't have an accident. I'm fine. You know, I was only 5. So I remember vividly being in speech class and this lady holding up a picture of a horse and asking me, "What is this?" And I said, "It's a horse." And she looked at me and says, "No, it's not. It's a horse." And I'm like, "Lady, it's a horse." Yes. So, but I must have been saying "it's a hoss" over and over. "It's a hoss, it's a hoss," instead of "it's a horse." And so I thought she had a screw loose or something. I didn't understand this woman. So it depends on where I am. If I am around people that with a thick, yes, I love a northern accent. When I get around my family from the north, when I get around the Yankees, it starts coming back. And if I am around my family from the South or just people in here, I start dropping my ing at the end of the word, which really irritates me, but I do it. Yes, I do that, and it's very irritating, but it happens. But I have heard that Yes, see, New York is so neat how the northern accents are so unique. Um, the New York one is really fun, and the Boston one too. I really like the different accents. But I've heard that when you get older, oh no, Duck Dynasty. So I've never had a drawl like the southern drawl, and I think it's so pretty. If I had that, it wouldn't bother me. But I just sort of have the lazy southern speech. There goes one of my cats zooming up the stairs. But anyway, I guess that's enough funny about me right now. But if you follow me on, hey Tatiana, I have a cousin named Tatiana. That's sweet. If you follow me on Instagram, or if you'd like to hear, this is where to find me on Instagram, H5 Manriquez, same title as here. Hey! And I just started blogging again. In the past, I blogged like a journal, like a digital scrapbook of everything, and I just blogged. It's my very first time on, so nice to see you. It's my very first time on, but I just started to blog again with a purpose. My goal is to have a homeschool lending library. Yes. Well, Instagram is so pretty and so easy and so fast, and there's so many wonderful homeschoolers on there. So much inspiration on Instagram, and it's so much quicker than blogging. I'm not going to be blogging a terrible lot. It's going to be very purposeful. My goal is to have a homeschool lending library in my home by the time my youngest graduates, so I can still minister to and reach out to homeschoolers after I'm officially finished. So I have posted a couple of things. Yes, it's great. I'll show you guys my library one time in my scope. So, yes, that's nice. Now, see, you guys need to do this some. What is your first name, dwelling on the true and lovely? Hey, Carter, do you want to come say hello? This is Carter. He just came to school today. And Kaylee, this is my oldest granddaughter. She schools with her mother, but we do some things together. Is Carson here? Yeah. Anyway, so I'm gonna wrap this up. What is your? Did I miss your first name? Yes, I'm very nervous. Yes. It's very nerve-wracking to do it live. But I was thinking about ideas for some of my favorite Instagrammers, what I would want them to scope about. Oh, here's Carson. Say hello. Say hello. You gonna say hello? This is my youngest grandson until a couple of weeks, and then we're going to have another one. Say hey. Go see Mama. Well, I'm going to wrap it up because he's here for school, and I have a basket to finish and some other things to do. But the Homeschool Scope Challenge this week was about Easter, and I don't have much, but I do have about 3 books that I like to pull out every Easter for the older students and for myself, and just 2 for the younger children. So I might hop on later and share those books. Yes, almost 4 grandchildren. So they keep me, hopping. So anyway, well, thank you so much, and I will try to follow back any homeschool moms that follow me, especially Charlotte Mason style homeschoolers, because that's my passion, Charlotte Mason homeschooling and books. So it was nice talking to all of you, and see you on Instagram. All right, goodbye, guys. I'm going to flip this around because there is no way this is stopping on my face. So, let's flip. There you go. Thank you so much. Goodbye.